Hello, everybody. Jeff here with Encounterbalance. And today I wanted to do a short little audio section here about keeping an experimental playstyle and why I think that it's beneficial to try out different ways of playing and different systems and see what resonates with you and kind of continuing to do so as you go through the hobby. So basically what I mean by that is I think that a lot of people tend to gravitate naturally at first to a certain way of playing the game without ever really considering that other ways of playing might be just as much, if not more, enjoyable to them. And they write off certain systems or certain play styles, either without experiencing it, or if they do experience and have a bad time with it, just writing it off forever and never trying it again. And I think that playing in that way kind of sells short the overall experience. So just kind of a personal example for me to kind of illustrate my point here. For a while, I was totally convinced that I didn't like sandbox campaigns. I always said that I preferred just a linear story, both as a GM and as a player. Like, I wanted just to know the story that we were trying to tell beforehand, make a character that fit, and go through that story. And you can still have really cool interaction between players and really cool creativity for the players involved, but everybody kind of knew the story at hand going in. And that sandbox campaigns, it was just kind of meandering, and there's not really any specific goal, and players are trying to do different things and that kind of thing. And I kind of just wrote off the idea of doing sandbox games. And then I started playing in Chris Wilhelm from the YouTube channel Drop Dice. He started a Blades in the Dark campaign, which is basically more or less like an open-ended sandbox system. You create a crime crew in the setting, and you execute different missions and have all these different political and personal ties. And I was a little bit apprehensive going into it because, that's basically the opposite of everything that I thought my playstyle was. And I immediately just fell in love with the game. That's one of my favorite campaigns now that I play in. And I would never have known that I enjoyed that playstyle as much as I did if I didn't give that game a chance. I didn't follow through and not only try it, but try it with an open mind and really see how I felt about it. And I feel like that's kind of a common thing that a lot of people do, myself included, is we come up with a way that we know, the way that we've been playing for a while, and that we know that we like, and we stick with that style that we know without ever even going back and trying other ways to see if you might enjoy that just as much, or maybe even more. And time and time again, I felt that when I actually try to go to different experiences and try to understand those experiences instead of writing them off or not giving them a fair shake, that I'm actually enjoy a wider range of experiences than maybe I would have given myself credit for early on. Another example is I never was really a big fan of specific resource management, like how many arrows you have or what mundane items you carry and that kind of thing. I just preferred to hand wave it. And then I started playing and running some adventures in Middle-earth. And that's kind of changed my mind on that because, mundane travel and gear is such a huge part of that setting. Small things can be great rewards in that setting. And I kind of just had a realization of why is resource management so different to me in Middle-earth? And some of it does come down to the settings and the play styles and the people that you play in those games with. So my kind of challenge and point to all this is if you've only ever played fantasy, consider trying sci-fi at least once, maybe just to see how you like it. And if you've only ever played sandbox, try a linear story. And if you've only played linear, try a sandbox. If you've only played high magic, try like a historic game. If you've only done low magic historic stuff, then try something just wildly high magic and just at least every once in a while, every couple months or a year, go back and revisit things that you've written off, because there's a chance that your play style has changed And as your playstyle shifts and your experience and the different people that you play with changes, you might be open to ideas that you didn't know would help you. And the game that you are looking for might be something that you've written off and not realized that you want. So that's just a short little video here talking about experimental playstyle. I'd love to hear any thoughts. Do you think it's good to try out other things, or would you rather stick with what you know? And any responses that you have, I'd be happy to hear them. But thank you, anybody who listened, and I will catch you guys next time. You guys.